This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 788, From a Certain Point of View. Enjoy. It's that other dream sequence that begins with, I think it was called the Kindred Council, right?
This is where we get a really interesting dollop of Dragonkin lore.
Yeah.
You go back further in time to...
Before things went bad.
Kind of after things went bad. So my impression was that this was after the Dragonkin had arrived on Gielinor, obviously. So their universe has been destroyed. I think, quick recap of the overarching story of Dragonkin. They are from the previous revision.
Yep.
And revisions are, iterations of the universe that the Elder Gods create. They go to sleep, and then when it's time for them to be born again, they eat the universe, they eat the anima of the universe, in doing so destroy it, and create a new one. And the Dragonkin are survivors and remnants of the previous revision. They hid in the abyss as the revision was taking place, and the abyss is this weird space between worlds that I'm still not entirely sure. It's how we teleport, we travel through the abyss.
Yeah.
And then when the new revision was formed, they came to Gielinor and they settled here. And what they're trying to do in this council sequence is they're trying to decide how to protect themselves from the Elder Gods, how to prevent what happened to them happening again. Their entire universe was destroyed. Obviously, they're going to want that to not happen again. And they're kind of debating. They've split into 4 factions, and they're debating how they're going to do it.
This is the time when we learn about the 4th faction, the Agra.
The Agra, yeah. And the Necrosites were just known as the Sites at this stage.
And coming into this quest, we only knew of 2, right?
Mm-hmm. The Dactyl and the Necrosites, yeah.
Dactyl and Necrosites, and we learn of the Nodin and Agra. And we really don't pick much up about the Agra here, do we?
No, they don't get much of a mention. I was trying to pin down just exactly when this happened, and it's kind of... I don't know whether it's pre-First Age or First Age, but a very, very long time ago. Before Gothics arrived, before many of the other sentient races arrived.
Yeah, definitely.
This is really ancient history.
And, I think the interesting part about this is that you could see the tension between them. And they operate in pairs in that there's the leader and then the fledgling in this council meeting. There's a leader of each faction, and then there's a fledgling as well, as in somebody who is kind of there as, I guess, a viceroy or backup to the leader of that faction in the council meeting, which is another aspect I found interesting, because this is a whole culture that we really haven't been introduced to before, aside from
this is all completely new.
Yeah.
I think, again, nodding to how old this is, Karapak is a fledgling in this scene.
And then we have to ask, how did we get to that point?
What was that?
How do we get to that point where Karapak is this grand ringleader? So...
and it kind of ties in again to what was mentioned in a really light-hearted manner in Thok's saga, but the scene we see is told from the perspective of the Nodon.
Right.
Who may very well be unreliable narrators.
Because we're in their dream.
We're in their dream.
Yes, and that's the key point. It's a perspective.
Anubis actually mentions it, and Anubis actually says it, which means it's going to be important.
And it's a question of perspective in terms of how everybody views what is going on in the world. And I think the way the Nodin are viewing things is a very Gothixian way.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's not, we're going to, completely destroy this curse and we're going to break it and then we're going to, find a way.
They weren't cursed at this stage.
Oh, they weren't?
They weren't cursed at this stage.
Okay.
What they were trying to do at this stage is prevent anything from happening to them.
And I still stand by what I said about it being a very Gothixian manner, is because, and maybe it's just presented to us this way in the dream, but it seems as though the Nodin are taking the most balanced approach.
They seem to be the most measured, don't they?
Exactly.
Again, it's from their perspective.
So it could very well be that perspective, because I think we all consider ourselves as measured when we look at it that way.
They could very well see themselves as the one taking the best path.
Yeah.
And Karapak sees himself as taking the best path. So, bias of the storyteller.
I'd love to experience more of this era of history.
It sounds really interesting, doesn't it? Kind of prehistory.
Hopefully the Orphan Dig site can do that.
Maybe, yeah.
You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe, or leave a comment.